On today's Locked On Angels, the City Connect jerseys in Major League Baseball are in full swing. So let's try and guess, what would an Angels one look like in the future? That's right now on Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locked On Angels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. I'm Steve Granado, your host. You can shoot me a follow on Twitter at Steve Granado. Of course, our Locked On account is at Locked On Angels. I want to use this episode today as a conversation piece, as a topic choice for all Angels fans. So if you're watching or listening to this, I 100% want to hear from you. And the best way to do it is give us a phone call, 714-409-6396. That's 714-409-6396. I want to field your thoughts on this and Angels City Connect jerseys. We're going to talk about that in 3 different steps. First, I'm going to give you a little brief history of what the City Connects are, what their goals are, and how it's kind of odd for the Angels. I'll explain that in a second. Then I'm going to look at some things that I found online of people already trying to mock up some of the City Connect jerseys. So if you're listening on our audio side, come over to our YouTube side for this episode today. It's going to be a lot better for you to see some of these images. I'll do my best to explain them, of course. And then I'm going to give you a realistic expectation of what we can expect from the Angel City Connects. And then, of course, my thoughts, what I would like personally. So let's talk about the City Connect jerseys just as a whole. What are they? So this is coming straight from Nike. And what their goals are with the City Connect jerseys, which is kind of important, so we know where they're coming from when they are designing these uniforms. So this is from Nike. The bond between baseball club identities and their fans, balancing that sanctity and ingenuity in a club's identity through creative partnerships, is what energizes the City Connect series. The designs continue to explore a franchise's connection to its city and its fan base, each with distinct personalities, values, customs, and traditions. So personally, I am a massive fan of this idea. I talk about it all the time on here. We talk about creating the culture here for Angels baseball, right? And the City Connect jerseys are like exactly what we're looking for. Like that's exactly what I'm looking for. It is the exact thing that I love about baseball, its connection to its past, right? And how the game pursues forward and all that stuff. That's what makes baseball special for me. And so that's what I try to do on the show all the time, is talk about the connection to the city, connection to the fan base all the time here on Locked On Angels. That is always our primary goal, right? So we look at the ones in the past, right? The Dodgers have their City Connects jerseys. The San Francisco Giants got theirs last year. The Diamondbacks got them. The Cubs, White Sox, Marlins, and Red Sox all got their City Connect jerseys in 2021. And while not all of them were like major big hits, I had my personal favorites. I think my favorite was definitely the Marlins ones. I love the connection to the Cuban Sugar Kings team. That is such a great historical look at baseball, especially in the Southeast region. I really, really loved those Sugar Kings styled. Obviously, the White Sox ones were definitely up there too. Personally, one of my other favorites was the Diamondbacks. I really loved the Los Serpientes. I love the connection to the Hispanic community in Arizona. I really, really love that. And I also love that for the Dodgers, how they were able to do that with the Los Dodgers. I preferred them to say Doyers. They didn't say Doyers, but, can't get them all. So there, again, are some jerseys that landed, some that didn't, and that's kind of where we're at with these, right? You kind of have to anticipate that some of the jerseys are just not going to land because they're taking some bolder strides, and some of them maybe not so bold. I thought the Wrigleyville ones for the Cubs were not bold enough. I liked the color, I liked the blue pants, but if you're going to make a City Connect jersey, like, you got to go all in, right? Like, you got to go all in. So again, when we look at what Nike is trying to do with these, they are trying to connect, again, the fan base, the city, values, customs, traditions, right? And so that's where things kind of get weird for the Angels, right? The Angels' history, especially most recently over the last 20 years with the city of Anaheim, not great, right? It's just not great. And it really stems from Arte Moreno. I'm not going to use this as a springboard to just kind of pile on here on Arte, but when we look at the history of it, a lot of it has to do with once Arte came in, right? We know how beloved Gene Autry was. When Disney came over, and they had the Ducks, they ran Anaheim for a while. But now you're looking at this era of Angels baseball under Arte Moreno, and it is admittedly different than those previous owners, right? And it really started with the changing of the names, right? And you got to remember the history of Arte Moreno. We've talked about it on this show before, but the Angels were not his first choice. He wanted to buy the Diamondbacks and could not do it. So he came to Anaheim and bought the Angels. So you have to kind of start there when you're trying to understand the history between Arte and the city of Anaheim. So the changing of names for marketing purposes or whatever the purposes they want to say, it's not a good look, right? When you're trying to connect to a city and you say Los Angeles, then you are not Anaheim, right? Like just right there and then you're not Anaheim. And we've even polled Locked On Angels fans, and most of you still want Anaheim in the name. And so once you look at that and you go, okay, there's, mark number one of bad taste. Then you look at this stadium sale, right? And like how everything has shook out with the city and how the stadium sale has gone. There's just a real tumultuous past, especially in the last 20 years between the Angels and the city of Anaheim. And like when you look, we only have one comparison really for a pro sports team in Anaheim, and it's the Ducks. And I've talked about how good they've been with their connection with the city and how much they do for the community. I've told you many, many times, I live in the city of Anaheim, and I'm a fan of both of these teams, both the Ducks and Angels. And the Ducks and the Samuelis have done a great job of connecting with the city. They host food banks. They did during the pandemic, they were doing like drive-through weddings and like all these like city things that they connect with the city of Anaheim, right? And it seems like they actually really care about where they are. They're not changing their name to Los Angeles. They're not putting Orange County. They're not putting California. Like they are proudly the Anaheim Ducks, right? The Anaheim Ducks, straight up, no ifs, ands, or buts. And they have those like programs, right? The SCORE program, which is all learn to play for the Ducks, and it's all free for kids and underprivileged and all this kind of stuff. And then you look at the Angels and they don't have those kinds of events. Yes, they have the 5Ks and they have some RBI camps, but that's only like one day a year in July. So there are things in where the Angels just kind of don't have the connection to the city connection. And that's what's going to make this a little bit more difficult, right? And that's where I get confused, and I'm a bit concerned on how much input was had by the Angels, how much Nike was able to work with them, and where it all landed. So what would a City Connect jersey even entail? How would the team even go about trying to connect with a city that their owner seemingly doesn't really even want to connect with, right? That's kind of an impasse right there, right? So we're going to talk about that in a second. Again, I have a couple of pictures. Again, if you are listening on our audio side, you should definitely come over to the YouTube side. We're going to show those here in just a second. But it is a very interesting, not a great history, especially in the last 2 decades. It's the new year. That means New Year's resolutions. If yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. You'll want to eat it, unlike other protein bars, which can be chalky or waxy or taste like a chemical spill. You want to eat healthy, but it gets so boring. By this time in January, you're already thinking, dude, it's not worth it. But Built Bar is worth it. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein per bar. Even if you're not a huge fan of working out, you can at least eat something that tastes good and is good for you. And of course, they have a bunch of flavors. You should go to built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's LOCKED15 for 15% off your order at built.com. Back here on Locked On Angels, your first listen of the day. Steve Granado with you. Okay, let's jump on over. Now let's go ahead and look at what some fan mock-ups of what a City Connect jersey might look like here in the future. I'm going to jump back to June of 2021. Angels Reddit posted over on Twitter. Take this all with a grain of salt. I mean, it's just a Reddit account, so, anything could be posted anywhere. But this is what they said. There was a leak/rumor on Reddit today that the Angels are rejecting a lot of Nike's ideas for the City Connect jerseys and instead implementing their own. According to the rumor, a lot of Nike's ideas were good. Again, take that with a grain of salt. But what I really want to bring up is the response. So this is coming from Danny Ferris. He used to work for the Angels. He was in their social team. He was in the MLB Fan Cave way back. He worked a couple of years with the Angels, worked a couple of years with the Houston Astros, and this is what he had to say in response to that tweet back in June. He said, one of the last projects I was lucky enough to work on there was the City Connect jerseys with Nike. Process was super fun and smooth, wrapped and approved months ago. This is back in June of last year. And I'm pumped for fans to see what the collab will be. So, Danny, I've met him in the past, very long time ago, back just after his fan cave year. Great guy, super nice dude, and I trust this guy. So it's seemingly that those jerseys are done, right? And that is going on a year ago. We don't know when the Angels will unveil their City Connect jerseys. We don't know what the timeline is for 2022 at this point. Hopefully, if you're watching this in the future, we already know, and that means the lockout is over and we know when the jerseys are going to be coming for other teams. But they want to get all the jerseys done seemingly, I think, by the end of 2023. That's what it looks like on Nike's site. So it seems like the jerseys are done. So now we are essentially just in a guessing game. So let's take a look at some mock-ups from Reddit. So this is coming from Deathlink CB, who posted a couple of months ago saying, my take on a City Connect Angels jersey. And these, again, for our audio listeners, are like an off-white, yellowish, kind of that beige look with the, think like California Angels style font, and it goes Anaheim across the chest. A has the circle, or the halo, the gold halo, and then the California, the lower Southern California portion is on the left sleeve. Not a full California, but just the portion in which we essentially are. Anaheim across the chest. So the Angels have toyed with Anaheim across the chest. Again, the lack of connection with the city of Anaheim makes that, I think, really odd. I don't think that Arte would approve that because he wants Los Angeles pretty bad, and that's pretty obvious at this point. So I don't know if you're going to get Anaheim. The two that we have mocked up from some fans are both Anaheim. Both say Anaheim. So I dig these. I think they're pretty clean. I would like a little bit more out of them. Maybe something on the right sleeve, maybe something on the back or the bottom or something. I want the Angels to kind of go out. I do love that beige off-white, though. I am super into beige and off-white, and I think more teams need to start doing that. You look at Rice Baseball. They have some really good ones. I really love those beige off-whites, kind of throwbacky styles. Here's another one that I found on Reddit. This is from IBN Artie. My concept for the Angel City Connect, bring back the Anaheim jersey logo and switch the Angels red to orange because Orange County. So we are seeing, again, another Anaheim. It's just kind of that simple, like that mid-2000s Anaheim across the chest on a slight curve. And then the numbers, and it looks a little bit like San Francisco. A little San Francisco-y with the orange and black. Maybe if you make that blue, go orange and blue, maybe Cal State Fullerton little tie a little bit there for Orange County. And then, changing the hat for orange or something. But so I totally anticipate, we're going to talk about this here in our third segment, but I totally anticipate some sort of Orange County tie and maybe not an Anaheim tie. I would maybe like Anaheim. I'm kind of split on Anaheim. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section here on YouTube. How do you feel about Anaheim on the chest? And then, of course, the orange and all that kind of stuff. I want to hear what your thoughts are. This one, again, is also a little bit of an off-white. I would be curious to see if that is the style in which they go. And then I found one comment here on Reddit as well on the same post. From Live for Coasters, says, just embrace the Disney. Mickey colors on the uniforms and some ears on the caps. I mean, there are obvious problems with that, just copyright-wise, since the Angels are no longer owned by the Disney Corporation. So I think that would be kind of funny. That would be kind of wild. I think if they were still owned by Disney, that might be something they would maybe consider. I mean, I don't think the ears. I don't think they'd ever do the ears. But let me know how you feel about this kind of stuff. Are you interested in Anaheim across the chest? Do you like the idea of orange for Orange County? Do you like the idea of maybe trying to do some sort of like tie-in with Disney, even though, maybe it's not all full Disney, but just some sort of homage to Disney, the Disney era? Or would you be interested, I don't know, in a look like, I don't know. Just let me know. Let me know. What would you want out of these City Connect jerseys? You can always give us a phone call, comment down below, or tweet me at LockedOnAngels. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march through the NFL playoffs. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Back here on Locked On Angels, your first listen of the day. I want to decompress a little bit. I want to talk about what I want out of the City Connect jerseys. You know me, massive connection to the past of baseball. I love the game. I love the culture, and I just wanted to see it grow. That's all I want, right? That's all I really want. So this is what I want out of an Angel City Connect jersey. The obvious answer here is a connection to the orange groves, right? So this area here in Anaheim was all farms and, agriculture, and, obviously there were cities and stuff all the way back in the early 1900s and things. But this whole area was orange groves, which is why this area is called Orange County, and that spreads throughout there. Obviously, I don't think I need to tell you that. But an obvious answer is a connection to the orange groves, which I would anticipate maybe happening. I imagine there has to be something orange, right? If you're talking about this area, something orange has to happen. I think also what might be kind of cool is a train connection. You think of the trains that used to run through Anaheim. Used to be one by Anaheim Boulevard where the packing house now is. There's that old train track that still is in the ground. The packing house itself was a train station at one point. And especially if you look now across the street at the Arctic, even from, home plate, you can see out to the Arctic, which is the transportation hub where the Amtrak runs through. So there is a connection to trains here in this area. I think could be kind of cool. Maybe some sort of train track or something to do with trains, especially given that it is a connection to the past and the present now with the Arctic. And then one thing that I think would be super awesome, I don't know how you would do it. I don't think the city is going to do it, or the city connectors are going to do it, because it would be kind of hard. But Anaheim and the surrounding cities have a super diverse history with Mexican, Japanese, Chinese, German, and Korean histories. So some way to incorporate that would be amazing. The city, the word Anaheim is like I believe is German. And I know Anaheim peppers obviously is Spanish, but there is a connection with the diversity of this area. There's a lot of it. And if they could find a way to incorporate that, I know the jersey's already done, but if they could find a way to incorporate that, I think that would be really, really cool. When we're thinking realistically, though, of what's actually going to happen, I'm going to try and guess to see what those jerseys might consist of. And I think realistically, you're going to see some palm trees on that jersey, right? There are palm trees all throughout Anaheim now. And I think they're going to probably go for some sort of beachy connection. I think that's going to be the idea. I still kind of do, but I used to drive for Uber way back when, and I picked somebody up at the Ducks game once, and it was a guy from Edmonton, and he was like, wow, I've never been to a hockey rink that had palm trees outside. And then that was when I clicked. I'm like, oh, all of Anaheim is palm trees, right? So I think that's probably where the City Connect jerseys are going to go. Maybe you see something on the sleeve, the bottom portion of the jersey. I imagine there's going to be something palm tree related. And I imagine they might stick with the same color scheme. Again, if there's any color switch, they're probably going to go orange. If you think back to the Stadium Series in the NHL, the Ducks did that. They did the full oranges. I didn't love those. I think they kind of looked a little traffic coney, but neither here nor there. I think there will probably be something orange again. There has to be. It'd be really strange if there wasn't something orange in it. I don't know if they go full-blown color switch. Most of them that we've seen, aside from the Sugar Kings ones for the Marlins, have all been like same color scheme, or at least like 1-to-1, very close to that color scheme. So, and I think if there's going to be a name change, like we've talked about Anaheim across the chest, I don't think that's going to happen, but I got to imagine if there's going to be a name change, Halos is going to be it. That is the number one nickname I think I've pretty much said Halos on every episode of Locked On Angels at this point. Halos is the name, right? So they're going to do something with a halo, maybe a halo over a palm tree, and it's in orange or something. I don't know. That would be the most obvious answer I think they would go for. But again, I want to ask you, I want it to be a conversation piece. What do you want out of a City Connect jersey? I want to hear below. I will be in the comments here on YouTube, checking out with you guys, hanging out with you guys, and commenting and talking and pinning my favorite ones, that kind of stuff. I want to hear what you want out of a City Connect jersey. Of course, you can hit me up on Twitter as well, at Locked On Angels, at Steve Granado, and our voicemail line, 714-409-6396. Check out in the episode description as well are my other podcasts. I have 2 of them. You should definitely check them out. They're a good time. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Check out Locked On Bets as well for your second listen, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us in today's episode of Locked On Angels. Let me know in the comments section, what do you want out of the City Connects? We got Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on Locked On Angels. We'll talk to you on Friday. Until then, I'm Steve Granado. Later.